Iterative constructs in Java, that's otherwise called as loops. Definition. So computers are best suited for applications where a sequence of steps have to be repeated several times. The program construct that is used to repeat such a sequence is called a loop. So what is a loop? A proper definition is repeating a set of action again and again until a particular condition is satisfied. Here I had given you two examples. One is filling water, other one is eating food. So you eat the food continuously, you take and eat the food until your stomach is filled. Or here the bucket. The boy has to fill the bucket and then pour it into the drum until the drum is filled. So these are the best examples of a looping. Coming to the types of loop, we have got two different types of loop. One is entry control loop, another one is exit control loop. For loop and while loop are the examples of entry control loop, and do while loop is the example of exit control loop. Entry control loop. While loop and for loop are called as entry control loop since they check the condition in the beginning of the loop itself. If you see this flow chart, beginning of the loop only the test condition is checked and then it reaches the body of the loop according to the given condition. Exit control loop, do while loop is called as exit control loop since it checks the condition at the end of the loop. So beginning of the loop all the statements will be executed and the condition will be tested at the end of the loop. So it is called as exit control loop. So these are the three different types of loop: the Java loop, for loop, while loop and do while loop. It is used for iteration and this is the difference that I had given you. Coming to the for loop in detail. The loop is used in the programming to repeat a specific block of code. In this particular article, you will learn to create a for loop in Java programming. Loop is used in the programming to repeat a specific block of code until certain condition is met. So loops are what makes the computers interesting machines. Imagine you need to print a sentence 50 times on your screen. Well, you can do it by using the print statement 50 times without using the loop. How about you need to print a sentence 1 million times? Then you need to use the loop. So syntax of the for loop is for initialization, text expression, increment or decrement, and inside it is the body of the loop. So initialization, this is the flowchart representation of the loop. So initialization, text expression, for loop and updating the expression. How does a for loop work? The initial expression is executed only once. Then the test expression is evaluated. Here the text expression is a boolean value, either a true or a false value. If the text expression is evaluated to true, the code inside the body of the loop is executed. Then the update expression is executed again. So what it has to do, it has to go and then increment or decrement. It has to go again and again. The text expression is evaluated. If the text expression is true, the code inside the body of the loop is executed and update expression is executed. Then the process goes on until the text expression is evaluated to false. If the text expression is false, the loop terminates. So Java for loop, the Java for loop is used to iterate a part of the program several times. If the number of iteration is fixed, it is recommended to use a for loop. So we can initialize the variable check condition and the increment decrement value. So the Java for loop consists of four parts: initialization, condition, statement, increment and decrement. What is initialization? It is the initial condition which is executed once when the loop starts. Here we can initialize the variable or we can use an already initialized variable. So it is an optional condition. Coming to the second one is a condition. It is the second condition which is executed each time that tests the condition of the loop. So it continues execution until the condition is false. It must return boolean value either true or false. It's an optional condition. Coming to the statement, what the loop has to be executed, or the statement of the loop is executed each time until the second condition is false. Increment or decrement, it depends upon the given condition how we are going to increment or decrement the values. This is the example. To print the first 10 natural numbers, I had given the numbers from 1 to 10. The initial value is 1. The final value of the text expression is 10. The increment or the decrement value is 1 year. So we give the initial value of I is equal to 1. the final value of I is less than or equal to 10, and the increment value is I plus plus. So finally, when you print I, it will print all the numbers starting from 1 to 10. This is a second example to print the even numbers. So it starts from 2, 4, 6, 8 till 20. So initial value is 2, final value is 20. Now if we see the difference between the first two numbers or any two numbers, consecutive numbers, it is 2. So you write I is equal to 2, I less than 20, I equal to I plus 2. Then you print the value of I, it gets printed. The next one is a while loop. The syntax of while loop is while text expression and the code inside the while loop. So this is a flow chart of the while loop, text expression and the while loop body. So how does while loop works? Here the text expression inside the parenthesis is a boolean expression, either true or false. If the text expression is evaluated to true, statements inside the while loop are executed. Then the text expression is evaluated again. This process goes on until the text expression is evaluated to false. If the text expression is evaluated to false, while loop is terminated. So you can just see here the example, initial value. Again, this also has got the same three things: initial value, text expression, and increment or decrement. And how we put up here in while loop matters. In this, we have to note if there is more than one statement in the loop body. If there is more than one statement in the loop body, then it is compulsory to group them within a pair of curly brackets. Do while loop. The do while loop is similar to while loop, with one key difference. The body of the do while loop is executed once before the text condition and expression is checked. Okay, so the syntax is do. So first it will do all the options, then finally come to the expression. Here you will have a semicolon at the end of the while loop. And so this is the flow chart of the while loop. Then how does a while loop work? The body of the do while loop is executed once. Only then the text expression is checked. If the text expression is evaluated to true, codes inside the body of the loop are executed and the text expression is evaluated again. This process goes on until the text expression is evaluated to false. So when the text expression is false, that means the three different types of loop: for loop, while loop and do while loop. In for loop, fixed number of iteration, it is entry control loop. Three components of the loop is the same line. Whereas in while loop, number of iterations are known. Entry control loop, we have initialization, increment, decrement, all these are the different lines. Whereas in do while, number of iterations are not known, it is exit control loop. All the three things are in the different lines. So these are the comparison between the three different loops. Coming to the infinite loop. An infinite loop is otherwise called as an endless loop. It is a sequence of instruction in the computer program which loops endlessly, either due to the loop having no termination condition or having that never been met, or that causes the loop to start over. Example will be like this: I will never stop. I'm just giving while true. In the above example, the loop condition is always true and it executes for the infinite number of times. This is the next example: a equal to 10, a is less than or equal to 20, SOPLN, you are asking to print the value of a. In this example, the loop condition is always true and it executes the infinite number of times. Here if you see, I have not given anything inside the for loop. I have just given SOPLN score master. So there is no initialization. In this I had given for loop, score master is given. In the above example, there is no initialization, no condition and no updation. So during this execution, since there is no condition given, by default the result of the condition will be considered as true always. Therefore, it becomes an infinite loop. And the next type of loop is called as a delay loop. A equal to 1, a plus plus, less than or equal to 5000, and I'm printing the value of a. So what will happen here? The loop gets executed 5000 times, but nothing prints since there is a semicolon. After while loop, you are given a semicolon. So after the 5000th time, the value will be printed as 5001 only once. So which does not belong to the loop body. So PLN does not belong to the loop body here. So thus the empty loop can be defined as a loop which executes till the condition is satisfied but has nothing to display. Empty loop is also called as a time delay loop in Java. And the next one is the multiple counter variables, multiple initialization. How do we do? We can also give multiple initialization. just by having multiple variables here. So you can give a equal to 0 and b equal to 0, and then check the value of a in the while loop, and I just put a plus plus b plus plus, and I can print it. Otherwise here, whenever I'm using the for loop, I can give I is equal to a, j equal to a by separating it by a comma. So multiple initializations or updations are separated using the comma, but the condition will use logical operators to link many conditions. That is what you need to understand. The break and the continue statement, which is again used in loops, very important topic. Suppose you are working with loops, it's sometimes desirable to skip some statements inside the loop or terminate the loop immediately without checking the test expression. So in such cases, break and continue statements are used. So how do we use the break and the continue statement? You can see, just to give a break statement after the condition. So how in while loop break is used, how in do loop break is used, do while loop break is used, and how in for break is used is given here. This is the example. I'm just giving I is equal to 1, I less than 10, I plus plus I. So if I give I is equal to 5, 1 2 3 4, and will be printed, because when I reaches 5, it will not print that, it will break and come out of the loop. The continue statement is the other way of the break. It will only skip a part of the loop, and then the iteration continues. So suppose you're working with the loop, it is sometimes desirable to skip. So whenever you wanted to skip, the continue statement is used. So that is what you have to understand here. Again, how the continue statement works along with the while loop, do while loop, and the for loop is given here. Coming to the example, I have an example like this. Between 4 and less than greater than 4 and less than 9. So between 4 and 9, 5 6 7 8 is skipped. So that is what you are seeing here. Hope you have understood the break and continue statement. So if you have any question, you can just mail it to me, scoremaster@gmail.com. Thank you and all the best.